I remember the day I finally hit the salary I always dreamed of. I expected to feel free. Instead, for the first time in my life, I felt truly poor. It turns out, when you use money as a band-aid for internal insecurity, all you do is fund a more expensive version of your own stress. If you're earning more but feeling worse, this video is for you. By the end of this, you're going to understand why a specific number, somewhere between $60,000 and $90,000 a year for most American households, quietly changes how money feels and why crossing it doesn't do what people expect. You're going to see why a raise can make someone feel poorer within 6 months. And you're going to walk away with a way to measure your financial stress that has nothing to do with your bank balance. Here's the thing. We've all been taught the same broken equation. More income equals more security. It sounds obvious. It sounds like math. But it's not math, it's a guess. And for a huge number of people, that guess turns out to be wrong. The Federal Reserve has tracked this for years in its report on the economic well-being of U.S. households, and the pattern is consistent. People move up an income bracket, and instead of relaxing, they tighten. They start comparing themselves to a new group of people. They start noticing a new set of things they don't have. The floor moved, but so did the ceiling, and it moved faster. My name is Ely, and I spend way too much time thinking about how people in the U.S. experience money psychologically. If you're someone who earns a normal income, maybe even more than you used to, but still doesn't feel financially secure, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now look, I'm not telling you money doesn't matter. If you can't cover rent, that's not a psychology problem, that's a math problem, and no amount of mindset work fixes an empty account. But somewhere above survival, something strange happens. Research referenced by the Federal Reserve and separately discussed by Princeton economists has pointed to an income range, adjusted for cost of living, where additional dollars stop reliably improving daily emotional well-being. Past that point, more income keeps improving your life satisfaction on paper, the big picture, how do you rate your life overall kind of number. But it stops touching the day-to-day feeling of ease. Those are two different things, and almost nobody separates them. Here's what most people don't realize. Financial stress isn't primarily a function of income. It's a function of the gap between your income and your reference point. Your reference point isn't some neutral, rational number. It's built from your childhood, your coworkers, your neighborhood, and increasingly, your phone. A generation ago, your reference point was mostly the people on your street. Now it's whoever is loudest in your feed. And the algorithm has learned that showing you people slightly wealthier than you keeps you watching. So your baseline for normal keeps drifting upward, silently, in the background, while your actual paycheck stays anchored to reality. This is where it gets interesting. Let's do the math on a raise. Say someone goes from $55,000 a year to $75,000. That's a real, meaningful jump. On paper, they should feel noticeably better off. But here's what usually happens instead. The old car that felt fine at 55 suddenly feels embarrassing at 75, because now they're spending time around people who drive something newer. The apartment that felt cozy starts to feel small. Dinners that used to be a treat become a baseline expectation. Within about a year, spending has crept up to match, sometimes exceed, the new income, a phenomenon researchers and financial psychologists call lifestyle creep. The Bureau of Labor Statistics consumer expenditure data shows this pattern clearly across income brackets. Spending rises in step with earnings for the vast majority of households, almost like income has gravity and spending is just falling toward it. And the sneaky part is that none of these individual purchases feel irrational in the moment. Nobody sits down and thinks, I'm going to inflate my lifestyle to match my new income and erase my raise. Each decision feels small. A slightly nicer car payment, a slightly bigger place, a few more dinners out because you finally can. It's not one bad decision. It's 100 reasonable feeling ones, and they add up to the same financial pressure you had before, just with a nicer view. Think about someone who used to split a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate, paying maybe $900 a month, and then gets promoted and decides it's finally time to live alone. The new place is $1,400 a month. Add renter's insurance, a slightly higher electric bill because now it's all on one person, maybe a car upgrade because the commute changed. None of it looks reckless on a spreadsheet. Every single choice is defensible on its own. But stack them together and the raise that was supposed to create breathing room has been fully absorbed within a year, and the person is right back to checking their account balance before hitting confirm on a grocery order. Except now their salary has an extra zero of pressure attached to it. The number went up. The feeling didn't. Now you might be thinking, okay, but surely earning more still helps somehow. Otherwise, why would everyone chase it? And you're right, it does help, just not in the place people expect. The American Psychological Association Stress in America surveys have consistently found money near the very top of the list of stressors for adults, year after year, regardless of the economic climate. But when researchers dig into who reports feeling that stress, income alone is a weak predictor. A far stronger predictor is something called financial fragility, basically, how close someone feels to a crisis at any given moment. And fragility isn't about how much you make. It's about how much space exists between your income and your obligations, and how much of a buffer you have if something goes wrong. Here's a number worth sitting with. Multiple Federal Reserve surveys over the years have found that a large share of American adults, often cited around 1 in 3, would struggle to cover an unexpected expense of $400 using cash or its equivalent. That's not a low-income statistic exclusively. People earning six figures show up in that data too, because fragility isn't about the size of the number coming in, it's about the size of the number going out and how automatically it goes. This is the part that made me sit up straight the first time I really understood it. Financial stress isn't primarily about scarcity. It's about uncertainty and lack of control. Two people can have the exact same bank balance and feel completely different, because one of them knows exactly where their money goes and has a plan if something breaks, and the other is essentially flying blind, hoping nothing goes wrong before the next paycheck. The dollar amount is identical. The nervous system response is not. If this is starting to feel familiar, that's exactly why I make these videos. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So let's talk about identity, because this is where money psychology gets its teeth. For a lot of people, especially in the U.S., spending isn't really about the object being purchased. It's about signaling to yourself and to others that you're doing okay, that you made it, that you're not falling behind. Psychologists sometimes call this identity spending, purchases driven less by need or even want, and more by a desire to close a gap between how you feel internally and how you want to appear externally. The problem is that this kind of spending is a leaky bucket. It offers relief for maybe a day, sometimes an hour, and then the underlying insecurity is still sitting there. Except now, there's also a bill attached to it. This is where the Band-Aid metaphor actually earns its place. Imagine you have a wound that needs stitches, and every day you put a fresh, expensive Band-Aid over it instead. The Band-Aid looks fine from the outside. It might even look impressive. But underneath, nothing is healing. And every day you're spending money to maintain the appearance of being fine instead of spending anything on actually becoming fine. That's what a lot of lifestyle spending quietly does when it's driven by insecurity instead of genuine enjoyment. It's not that nice things are bad. It's that nice things bought to silence a feeling never actually silence the feeling. They just get more expensive over time as the feeling gets louder. So what actually helps? Not another budgeting app, not a 5-step hack, but a shift in what you're measuring. Instead of asking, how much do I make? Start asking, how much space is between my income and my fixed obligations, and how long could I survive if that income stopped? That single question reframes almost everything. It moves the focus from earning more, which has diminishing emotional returns once you're past a certain point, to building margin, which has almost linear returns on peace of mind. Practically, here's where to start. First, find your real number, not your take-home pay, but your actual fixed monthly obligations, rent or mortgage, insurance, minimum debt payments, essentials. Most people have never written this number down and have a distorted sense of what it actually is. Second, build what I'd call a decompression fund before you build a dream fund. Even 1 month of basic expenses sitting untouched changes how your brain responds to financial surprises, because now surprises are inconvenient instead of catastrophic. Third, before any lifestyle upgrade, car, apartment, subscription, ask whether it's solving a logistical problem or an emotional one. Both are valid reasons to spend money sometimes, but only one of them actually gets solved by spending. Fourth, and this one is uncomfortable, audit who you're comparing yourself to. If your reference point is built from social media or from the highest earner in your friend group, you are measuring yourself against a curated highlight reel or a statistical outlier, not against reality. Recalibrating that reference point, even slightly, does more for daily financial peace than most raises do. Fifth, treat every raise as a split decision the moment it lands, before your spending habits get a chance to absorb it quietly. A simple rule that works for a lot of people is dividing new income roughly in half, letting one portion fund a real lifestyle improvement, something that genuinely adds value, and directing the other portion straight into savings or debt payoff before it ever touches your checking account. This isn't about depriving yourself. It's about making sure the version of you that felt insecure at the old income doesn't get full control over the new income by default. Left unmanaged, that's exactly what happens, because insecurity doesn't wait for a plan, it spends immediately, while margin only gets built on purpose. And sixth, get comfortable checking your numbers on a schedule instead of only when panic forces you to. People who feel calm about money almost never got there by making more of it first. They got there by removing the mystery, by knowing, on any given day, roughly where they stand. Uncertainty is what makes a wobble feel like a collapse. A once-a-week, 10-minute look at your accounts does more for your nervous system than most financial advice you'll ever read, because it turns the unknown into something familiar. And familiar things are rarely as frightening as the version your imagination builds when you're avoiding them. Here's the honest truth about all of this. You are probably not going to fix decades of financial anxiety with one video or one changed habit. But you can start narrowing the gap between what you earn and what actually makes you feel secure. And that gap, not your salary, is the real number worth paying attention to. The goal was never to make more money forever. The goal is to need less relief from money in the first place. That's a quieter kind of progress. It doesn't look as impressive from the outside, but it's the only kind that actually holds up when life gets messy, and life always eventually gets messy. Start there, not with the next raise, and you'll probably notice the stress loosening its grip long before your income changes at all.